Sorry, sir.
फोटो
I feel there's a technical glitches at Mayur's side also. So continuing further, I shall give the introduction for Sir. Sir has been into practice for last 44 years as partner of Vimal Punami and Company. With the help of 25 assistants attending nearly 1,000 residents and NR clients in various areas of taxation, audit, companies law, RBI, GST, cooperative society, stamp duty registration, etc. in the matter of seizures, property, appeal, search, attached to nearly 100 of companies, trust, firms and advisor, director, auditor or trustees. Sir has been very active in other activities as well. He is a life member of Cricket Club of India and various other club and associations. Honorable Treasurer remaking of Mumbai Federation. Honorable Patron of Estate Agents Association of India. Written numbers of books on transfer of flats, stamp duties, registrations, capital gains, search and seizures, HEF and family arrangement, assistance and appeal procedure, NRI provisions, etc. Sir has written various articles on various public platforms of various interests. For example, to name a few, Sir has written articles in Times of India, Property Times, Manvi Times, Chartered Accountant Journal, and many more. Not only this, Sir was past president of All India Business Council, Lions Clubs of Chowpatty, Bombay Metropolitan Junior Chambers, and the hugest very list. Sir, we welcome you to our study circle. You need no introduction, but as a part of customary, we were supposed to do it. Welcome, sir, to our study circle. Sir, the stage is all yours.
Audible, madam?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, very good, nice. CA Ritu Agarwal, convener. CA Amit Bhai Agarwal, my friend. CA Sital Sharma, deputy convener. CA Harsha Kumari, CA Mayur Kothari, and friends. Now, first I will talk about will, then nomination, frequent asked question, and then we'll take in the end right of daughter in father's property. Because 9th of September 2020, Supreme Court had decided one very important judgment where a lot of controversy was there. And now what daughter have right, which I will explain to you. And then end may we'll take question answer if any. Now friends, what is a will? In Hindi may we call vasiyat. Now will is a document in which I write after my death how my property is to be distributed. When I will be not there, in my lifetime, I might have earned some income, accumulated the assets. I may have inherited something from my parents, grandparents, my in-laws, my maternal uncle, and whatever I have at the time of my death, whatever I have given in my lifetime, that of course is over. But whatever I leave at that time, how that asset is to be distributed when I'm not around, when I'm not there. So what document we make, that is called a will. Question come, if I don't make a will, then what happen? For example, in life, we normally say when income is there, tax is certain. If you are born, death is also certain. And suddenly somebody passes away and he has not made any will, then how his asset will be distributed? Friend, for this purpose, 4 laws are very, very important, which you are supposed to know. First is Indian Succession Act 1925. When we make a will, all assets are to be distributed as per Indian Succession Act. Will can be made by Hindu, it can be made by Parsi, it can be made by Christian. And when I say Hindu, means Hindu include Jain, Buddha, Sikh, and all 36 community of Hindu. Then Hindu succession law, if I don't make a will, how that is to be distributed in Hindu Succession Act 1956. And of course, for Muslim, there is a separate Mohammedan law. For Shia Muslim separate, Sunni Muslim separate, Khoja there is a separate, and Sunni, Shia, Sunni and Khoja. And Bahri Muslim, there is another separate law. But we will more concentrate on the Hindu law. So for example, I don't make any will. If I make a will, I can distribute the way in which I want. If I make a will, if I don't make a will, then asset will be divided. If asset will be divided as per the Hindu Succession Act. Now, what is Hindu Succession Act? Hindu Succession Act says, if I have not made any will, then after my death, all my movable and immovable property, which I leave at the time of my death, will go to my wife, my son, my daughter, and my mother equally. In case I have 2 sons, 2 daughters, 1 wife, 1 mother, then it will be divided in 6 parts. Each one will get 1/6 of it. For example, my mother is not there on that day. Her share will not go to anyone. That will come to an end. Similarly, my wife is not there on that day. She predeceases me. Then her share will also come to an end. And whatever is there will be divided among my son and daughter equally. Now, question here come. For example, I am in some living relationship with some girl, but I'm not married. So on my death, she will not get anything. Very famous case of Rajesh Khanna, which we all know. But for example, out of that relationship, a child is born. That child have equal right at par with my other children. Now, for example, I got married second time. Then of course, my new wife will get the her share. But before, under Hindu Succession Act 1956, more than 1 marriage is not allowed. But few person got married before 1956 and they have 2 wives. So both wives will get 1 share only, and among themselves they can divide. For example, my son who is married, he passed away, he predeceased me, then his share will go to his wife and his children equal. Similar way, my daughter, before marriage, if she dies, her share will come to an end. But after marriage, then her share will go to her children, not to son-in-law. So that is called class 1 SSC. If there is nobody in the class 1, for example, I am not married, or my children are not there, my wife predeceases me, my mother is also not there. When I say mother, means biological mother. My father got married second time, that mother will not get anything. My mother will get equal share at par with my wife and my children. For example, there is nobody in class 1, no wife, no mother, no son, no daughter. Then what will happen? We have to enter in class 2. These all situations will come only if there is no will. Now, class 2, everything, whatever left over, will go to my father. For example, my death takes place before my marriage, or after my marriage, my wife she passed away first, and my mother, son, daughter is not there. Then everything will go 100% to my father, and my father will get 100%. In case my father also predeceases me, then my brother and sister will get equally. If father is there, then everything will go to father. If class 1, anyone is there, then it will go to the class 1 person. But for example, nobody is there in class 1, my father is also not there, then it will go to my brother and sister equally. Now, for example, my brother and sister is not there, I'm alone, or they passed away before my death, then everything will go to my daughter's grandchildren. Daughter's children are already covered in class 1, but daughter's grandchildren will be in class 2. And it will be in that preference only. If my father is there, then nobody will get, father will get everything. If after that, my brother and sister will get, then my daughter's grandchildren will get. If they are also not there, then children of the siblings, means my brother and sister's children, all children will get equally. If brother's children are also not there, then father's parent, means my grandfather and my grandmother will get it. If grandmother and grandfather is also not there, then when father got married second time, then my stepmother will get everything. My stepmother is, for example, not there, then widow of my brother. For example, if brother, I was the only son, so there is a question of widow of my brother. Then it will go to my father's siblings. My father's brother means my uncle, my auntie, my bua, my kaka, they will get equally. If they are also not there, then their children equally. If they are also not there, then it means my father's side, nobody is there, no grandfather, no father, no brother, no uncle, no children. Then I have to, they're all father's relative is known as a cognates. If they are not there, then it will go to my Nanihal side. Everything will go to my mother's parent, my Nana, Nani. If they are also not there, then my Mama, Masi. If they are also not there, then their children equally. They are known, my father's relative is known as agnates, mother relative is known as a legal term, cognates. But for example, nobody is there from my mother's side, nobody is there from my father's side, I am alone, then everything will, whatever I leave at the time of my death, will go to President of India. So that is a system. And if I don't make any will, then it will be divided like this. But for example, I make a will, then Hindu Succession Act 1956 will be not applicable. Everything will be divided as per Indian Succession Act, means as per my will. As per my will, asset will be distributed. I may not give to anyone. I may give 100% to charity. I may give to my friend. I can give to my brother's children. Living up my own children, I may not give. So that whatever I write and my will is binding on everyone. And that is a final. How to make a will, I will tell you a little later. But here I will tell you who can make a will. A person of a sound mind. If a person is mentally not fit, he cannot make a will. A person of a sound mind can make a will. If his age is more than 18 years, then of course he can. A married woman of sound mind also can make a will. A person who cannot hear, cannot speak, cannot see, but he understands what he is doing, then he can also make a will. For example, somebody of unsound mind. But unsound mind, he remain in part of the day. Say, for example, 4 hours, he remain unsound mind, remaining period, he is sound mind. So what is making he understand what he is doing? If that much capacity is there to understand, then he can also make a will. But if any person make a will when he is of unsound mind or drunk, that will is not valid. So let me tell you who are the categories who cannot make a will. Person of unsound mind, a minor less than 18 years cannot make a will. Similar way, a person who is drunk cannot make a will. A person who is already convicted, the Dawood Ibrahim, Chota Rajan, underworld person, they are already convicted, those person also cannot make a will. But for example, person is under process of conviction, that person can make a will. If I am holding certain asset on behalf of charitable trust or some temple or hospital or school, where I am not the owner, I am simply a signatory, I am a trustee of that trust, or I am a director of a company, partners of a partnership firm, Karta of the HUF, then also I cannot make a will, because I can make a will of my property, not somebody else's property. Property which belong to me, I have earned, I received from my parents or grandparents, that asset which is under my custody, I can make a will. But if holding on certain capacity of a trustee or a director or a partner or a Karta of HUF, such property I cannot make a will. Normally it is said when you are very happy or very sad, that time better not to decide of making a will. When you have a normal mind, normally it is said that when you make a will, keep ice on your head, sugar at tongue, or love at heart. When you feel you are very normal, no enemy, no disturbance of any person, at that time it is advisable to make a will so you can take a proper right decision. Because if you don't take a right decision, later on there may be a lot of litigation. For example, I have 2 sons. One is in America, doing very well. Second son who is staying with me and full taking care of me. So I want to provide for my son who is taking care of me at old age. Then by not making a will, both sons will get equally at par with my wife and my mother. But if I make a will, I can provide more for my son who is staying with me. Or my daughter, maybe widowed daughter. I want to provide for her. Otherwise, she will get at a par. So I can provide for her. I may have a handicapped child who cannot handle himself. Till I am alive, I will take care of him. After my life, my wife will take care. But when both are not there, who will take care? He is dependent always on somebody. Then we can make a will, make a trust in the will. I appoint trustee, and accordingly, And I can give direction, the money will be kept in only bank account, no share market, no other speculation activity. And whatever interest comes, that child will be taken care of by that. And I have certain confidential person on whom I have faith, maybe my relative, maybe my friend, maybe other than non-relative also. So I can make a trust under the will. By making a will, on the contrary, you are settling the whole thing. But normal impression with the person is, okay, once I make the will, it means my end have come. That is not there. You can change the will every day. Today, my priority may be my wife. Tomorrow, it may be my children. Third day, it may be somebody else. Or my children have a lot of money. I want to do everything charity. So by making a will, I can do that, not otherwise. So that way, will have many plus points. Will has to be in a writing. Oral will is not allowed under Hindu Succession Act. Only person who is in army, navy and air force, and the war is going on, they are already hit by the bullet and he feels the end have come. And that time, in presence of two other person, he make a declaration, oral declaration. Later on, these two person make an affidavit. Then the will be perfectly okay and will can be made. Then that oral will also is binding and perfectly will. But after making oral will, for example, real will is also found. Then oral will have no meaning, real will have meaning. For example, after accident, after hit by bullet, the person recovers. Then whatever orally he said will have no value. But in case of his death, orally and genuine will is not found, then whatever he said, my provident fund will go to so and so, my gratuity will go to so and so, my house will go to so and so, according, my pension will go to so and so. Accordingly, he can make a will of that. A person who working in a ship and in high seas, and ship got damaged, and now he feel the end have come, then he can call any of his friend and inform him on the phone, and that friend make a declaration, and the person dies in the ship. That time also his will is valid. But in case after that, the rescue operation may he survive, then the oral will, whatever is made, will come to an end. And if some real genuine will is found, that will supersede the oral will. Muslim can make an oral will at the time of his death. In presence of two persons, he make a declaration. But in case of a Muslim, he can make will of only 1/3 of his property. 2/3 will go as per the Muslim law. And male will get double than the female. Under Hindu law, male, female all are at par. When Muslim, male will get double than the female. And accordingly, a Muslim can also make an oral will at the time of his death, but only 1/3 of the property. There is no prescribed format. Only your intention comes in a writing. It can be in any language, can be Hindi, English, Marathi, Gujarati, whatever language person understand. If other area, it can be in the Kannada language, it can be in Bengali, it can be in Urdu, it can be in Sindhi. But whenever you are making will in Bombay, but even will is in Urdu or some other language, and you want to register the will, though registration is not necessary. But for example, I want to register. I want government of Maharashtra to become my witness of the will. Then what happen? Then in that situation, my that will, if I want to register, then I have to get that will translated in Gujarati or Hindi or Marathi or English. And that will which is written, handwritten in other language, other than this four language, I have to enclose along with this, and that will can be also registered. Similar way, normally impression is there, the will should be on stamp paper, not required. You can make it on plain paper. No stamp paper is required, but somebody feel more comfortable by making a will on a stamp paper. Then also it is fine. By making a will on a stamp paper will not become invalid, but the stamp paper will be treated only as a plain paper. But if I want to make on a plain paper, 100% perfectly okay. Good quality paper, good handwriting, leave margin on left, right, up, down, 2-2 inch margin, and write very good handwriting. If my handwriting is not good, even I cannot read what I've written, then it should be typed will is better. But my handwriting is good, it makes sense, then handwritten will also is perfectly okay. But typing is also optional. If I want to make, I can make that. Now, friends, question comes, how to make a will? Very simple. I must write all the information. What information will be? My name, my address, my age, my Aadhaar card number or PAN card number. So I can identify. For example, Vimal Punmya make a will without PAN number, and some another Vimal Punmya is also there. Then there can be some confusion. So better to write PAN card, PAN number or Aadhaar number. Name, address, age. Then I must write name of all my relatives. If I miss anyone, for example, I have 3 children. One is staying outside. So I've written name of my two child only. Third one I've not written knowingly, but I know he's my child. And if I don't write his name, I may give asset to him or not to give, that is my desire. But if I don't write name, that person can challenge. And my father was not with sound mind. When he made a will, even he forgotten my name also. So similar way, I must write name of all my relatives. I must write name of my wife, my mother, my son, and my daughter. If I want to write more name of my daughter-in-law, my grandchildren, my son-in-law, I can write, there's no bar. But mother, if alive, wife, if alive, son, children, those who are alive, and son and daughter means all children. I must write the name. So nobody can challenge later on. I remember all my relatives' name. I must make a list of my immobile properties. Immobile property, I do not give the area of the flat and city survey number, but at least my executor, because I will be not there that day. How my executor will take custody of all my asset. So he should be in a position to go at that place. So I must write flat number, building name, road number, Bombay number. So accordingly, he can take custody of all the asset. After making a list of immobile properties, I must make a list of movable property. Now, movable property, I may have FDR, I may have deposit with various companies, I may have shares of Indian companies, I may have cash in hand, jewelry, share of partnership firm, or many other assets. Now, today my bank FDR may be worth 5 crore. Tomorrow it may reduce to 50 lakh, or it may go to 20 crore. So I must identify the item, FDR with Bank of Baroda, so-and-so branch, my saving account in so-and-so bank, jewelry lying in a locker number so-and-so, or jewelry lying at home. So I must identify the item, because item may increase or decrease, but my executor should be able to take a custody, so he know what type of asset I have. Shares of Indian companies as per my income tax return, loans given by me as per my income tax return, so I'm as per my balance sheet, jewelry as per valuation report. So I must identify those items also. After this, I must write in the will that I may acquire some more asset in the future. That also will be part of my will. Then how I want to distribute that? If I don't, for example, I have 4 flats and I have 4 children. I want to give one flat to each. But for example, I don't make a will, every child have right in each and every flat. Every child will have 1/4 right in that property. So I must identify a particular flat will go to Mr. A, second will go to Mr. B, C, and D. So there is no dispute. Very clearly, it is distinguished, and person will get after my death. My executor will take care. Executor can be relative. Executor can be beneficiary. For example, I've given everything to my wife, and I say if CP diseases me, then my children will get. So I can appoint my wife as executor. After CP diseases me in my lifetime, then my son or daughter can be executor. So executor can be beneficiary also. But person who is a witness to the will, that person cannot be the beneficiary of the will. If I have asset worth 1 crore, I've given only 2 lakh to one son, and he is the executor, perfectly okay. He may get 98 lakh, then also it is okay. But I've given 2 lakh, then he can become my witness also to the will. But for example, I've given even 95 lakh, then it is advisable not to make as a witness, because witness cannot be a beneficiary. Some amount is getting, that is fine, but substantial interest is getting in a will, then it is better to take outside as a witness. Some other relative who is not beneficiary in your will, those person can be witness, because witness is very, very important. In case of a litigation, whatever witness will say in the court is the final decision. So always when you make a will, make sure witnesses are younger than you. At least they survive at that point of time. If they may also pass away, you can't help it. Then of course that certificate will be filed in the court when you apply for the probate. I will tell you what is the probate and succession certificate later on. But witness should be outsider, and witness is very, very important. If you have not written the name of witness, then will be invalid. Then whatever asset I don't have, future I may get some asset. How that is to be distributed, that also can write. That will go to my son or wife or daughter or whatever I want to write. How to distribute it is my privilege. Nobody can force me how to distribute. I may not give anything to my relative. I can do 100% charity. I can give 100% to my girlfriend. That all is permitted. But I must clarify what I want to do after my death. How I want my asset to be distributed after my death. If you are giving some more asset to a particular child or to your wife, or less asset to a particular child because he's separated in my lifetime and I've already given him the money, he's well settled, and I don't know to provide him more for him, then I must write I'm giving less to that child because I've already given in my lifetime. Or I'm giving less to my daughter because I've already given her at the time of her wedding. So if you are giving more then give reason. If you are giving less, give reason. So that person will not able to challenge in later on in a court of law. Because if you don't write, then they will say my father was not in proper senses. My other brother got 70% of the asset. I got only 20%. My sister got 10%. So those person who got less, they can challenge. So if I identify in the will why I'm giving more or why I'm giving less, then of course there is no litigation and things will be more clear. After making a will, I must sign each and every page. Last page may also signature, my photograph, my thumb impression. Because thumb impression is also very, very important. There cannot be two thumb impression of the same design. If we have 140 crore population, all thumb impression will be different. And by various computer technology, one can identify whether thumb impression is correct or wrong. Whether will have been fabricated or genuine will. So better to make a thumb impression also on that. In case of a witness, I must write their name, their address, and their signature. Now, witness did not know the content of my will, how I distributed. But witness definitely certify, I have signed my will in the presence of these two witnesses. For example, one witness signed at my home, and second witness is signing second day. Say for example, today one witness has signed. I made a will, sign everywhere, whatever as per the law. Tomorrow I go to a doctor and I want to take his witness. Then I must sign the will again, because there will be two signatures on each page, and date may be also differ. So I have to write the date again. So what witness certificate? So it is advisable you let both witnesses to sit together. I sign in their presence. Witness also sign, and later on I take one photograph on a mobile phone, take printout of that, and attach to the will, so nobody can challenge that will later on. So witnesses are very important here. Let me give you an example. There was one family in Pune. One person was a very rich person. He had assets worth more than 1 lakh crore. And he was having one wife. With that wife, there were 3 daughters and 1 son. Wife's relationship was not good. So his secretary, who was working with him, he started living with the secretary. And from that relationship, their daughter was born. So and after that, his first wife passed away. 3 daughters got married, well settled. Only 1 son was there. He was looking after the half business. This daughter was looking after the half business. The man was not well for some time. So he made a handwritten will. He wanted to keep everything secret. He don't want to disclose what he has done. So he handwrittenly, good handwriting, he made a will running into 7-8 pages. He distributed both the family, son and this daughter, this family, equally 50-50. After one day he passed away. After his death, will was open in presence of advocate and chartered accountant, because they were rich person. All have come, both children have come, daughters were also there. 2 witnesses' signature were not taken on a will. Now everyone knows, had it was open before, so they could have taken a signature of witness later on. But now everyone knows the witness is not there. That will was treated like a rough paper. Will have no meaning because in absence of a witness. So what happened? Case was filed by the son. He say, my father was not made any will because no witnesses were there. So asset is to be divided as per the Hindu Succession Act 1956. Now what Hindu Succession Act says, 3 daughters and son from that family, 4 persons. The second wife was not married. He was only living relationship with her. So she will not get anything. But daughter will get. So they were 5 legal heirs. Now everyone got 20%. So otherwise he was getting 50,000 crore, the lady. Now we get only 20,000 crore because the will was not witnessed. So 2 witnesses are very, very, very important. And make sure in case of any dispute, whatever witness will say in the court of law, they have to say simply, this man have signed in my presence, that is all. What will contain, nobody bothered about that. That was the wish of that person who passed away. And accordingly, will can be made. So witnesses are very important. Without signature of a witness, will have no value whatsoever. Now friends, how many type of wills are there? First will is privilege will, which is only for Army, Navy, Air Force, and persons working in a ship and in high sea. And Army, Navy, Air Force also at the time of their death. Those oral will is permitted, and a Muslim can make a oral will at the time of his death in the presence of 2 persons. Otherwise, oral will is not permitted. Under Hindu law, except this situation, nobody can make a oral will. Will has to be in a writing. It can be in any language. It can be typed or oral. It can be in plain paper or stamp paper, whatever. But it has to be in a writing. Oral will is not permitted. Then conditional will. Whether I can put condition in a will? Yes. I can say my son will get this much provided he take care of my wife. Or I can say my wife will get this much provided she take care of my mother. So if she will not take care of my mother, she will not get anything. And I can put also what I mean by care. So accordingly, conditional will also is valid. But I cannot put illegal condition. I cannot say this my friend will get this much provided I do murder of Mr. So-and-so. Such condition, illegal condition is not permitted. So what is important is, one, I can make will of my asset. I cannot say the Bombay airport will go to my wife and VT will go to my son and Churchgate will go to my daughter, because they do not belong to me. So I can make will of my property, number one. I can put any legal condition and not an illegal condition. Similar way, I can make a joint will with my wife. My wife and me, we make a joint will. I can make a joint with my friend. So for example, I make a joint will. So there will be one will. I will say my assets are like this. They will be distributed like this. My wife will say my assets are like this. They will be distributed like this. But asset will be distributed only after death of both the person. After my death, my asset will not go. If joint will is there, then asset will remain there. My wife will be able to use those assets. She cannot make another will of those assets, but she can use it in her lifetime. And accordingly, joint will is possible. But nowadays, joint will is not very popular, but joint will also is permitted. If I make a two testers come together and make a joint will. For example, I have one property jointly with my friend. He's a 50% owner, I am 50% owner. And we both combinedly make one will. After his death, his share will go to his children. I will say after my death, my right will go to my children. Such will is also allowed, and that will be operative immediately death of that person. If joint will is made with the wife, that will be operative only after death of both the person. But I make a will jointly with my friend, that asset will be divided. After my death, my asset will go to my legal heir, my friend will remain. And in case he predeceases me, then his asset will go to his legal heir. So that way it is possible. Nowadays, what is very popular is mutual will. Mutual means husband make a will, give everything to the wife. And in case wife predeceases, then he divide, this much will go to my son, this much will go to my daughter, or this will go to my mother. Or he may give only children only. Mother may not be required. With will, I can do whatever I want. If you don't know will, then mother have equal right. Similar way, my wife will also make a will. She will say everything will come to me after her death. If I die before her, then it will go to the children. So that is known as a mutual will. Now, mutual will, once it is made, like for example, I make a will, everything will go to my wife. So after my death, everything will go to my wife. But if she want to change the will after my death, because she already have asset, as per my will, she got more asset, she cannot change that will. Because it is a contract between her and me, then my asset will go to my wife. After her death, it will go to children. She say everything will come to me. After my death, it will go to my children. So I have right to use in my lifetime. But if remain, it will go to children. So that is a contract between the husband and wife. That is known as a mutual will. Such will cannot be changed. There, whatever you return, that will remain. Otherwise, because if she get or I get and we change the will, then intention of the person is not met. So accordingly, mutual will cannot be changed. There is another will called a duplicate will. Nowadays, whenever we register the will, we get one CD and we can take number of copies out of it. Or I can make beginning में only 4 or 5 copies and sign, and I keep at different places. Or so that is known as a duplicate will. Or I make a proper one will, take 4 or 5 Xerox copy, keep different places. So till originally found, the Xerox copy will have no purpose because original will is required. But I make original will only 4 or 5. Then that will is a valid will. Duplicate will, more copies of one will. There is a concurrent will. What is concurrent? For example, I have assets in India. I also have assets in USA. I have assets in UK. I have assets in Dubai. So one way I can make one will for the whole assets of whole world. But there what will happen? For example, I apply for the probate after my death. Original will, I have to make a petition to the High Court. Original will be attached along with that. And High Court will give a probate. Whatever written in a will, they will type on a stamp paper and give me back, signed by the judge. That time, original I will not get back. That will remain always deposited in the court. And I have to apply probate in the USA. Original will is not there. So I will not able to apply in USA. I want to apply for probate in UK or maybe in Dubai. So it is advisable, if I have reasonable substantial asset, then I must make will of every country separately. So in Indian property, I can make one will, UK property separate, USA separate, Dubai separate. So any country as per law, if I have to obtain a probate, the original will be deposited in the court, probate will be given. So that way, concurrent will is also can be made, separate will for each country. But as far as India is concerned, I cannot make more than one will. I can change the will, but final whatever will remain only one property, where a property is in Rajasthan or Bombay or Bengal or Madras or wherever. Indian property, only one will. Movable, immovable, or family settlement can be different way. But as far as we are talking about the will will be one only. I can change every day. Last will prevail. Now, who can be executor? I told you any person can be executor. Beneficiary also can be executor, but beneficiary cannot be a witness. After making a will, I earn more assets. I dispose of some asset. What is option available with me? I make a new will altogether. Or if I don't make a new will, then I can make a codicil, that is known as an amendment in a will. So what I can say, I made a will on this day, certain assets I have disposed of, or certain assets I purchased now. And that is not defined in the will. If I dispose of something and that property was given to a particular person, that person will not get. Or similar way, I have purchased some more property, how I want to distribute that asset. So that system, whatever is there, I can make amendment in the will, and legal term that is known as a codicil. Under codicil, I have to give reference of the earlier will. Again, my name, address will come. I don't give my relative name again if there is no change in the relative. Then I have to say, I made a will on this day, copy enclosed, following asset has been disposed of. So those person will get following new assets, or dispose of, so out of that, somebody will reduce and they will get that asset. Or I purchase more property. Then I can say, I have purchased more property and that property will be allocated like this. So whatever document I make, that is known as a codicil, amendment in a will, and original will what I made will be attached along with this, and this will become final. So I don't have to make will again altogether. I can make only amendment to that extent. If I make a codicil, for example, original will was registered, then codicil I may register, I may not register, but codicil also will be part of the document. Original will I have not registered, but I want to register the codicil, I can do that. Original will was registered and I don't know to register codicil, that is also fine. I want to register codicil, that is also fine. So whatever last I make, let us say I made a will that was registered. I made a new will, adding all the properties and whatever I want to make the changes. And I've not made any codicil, but I made a new will. But second will, new will is not registered. But still that will is valid, even it is not registered. Last will prevail. And last codicil will prevail. Registered or not registered is not relevant at all. Registration is optional. If I want to become Government of Maharashtra to become witness of my will, then of course I can make get it registered also. Registered will have 1% more value in case of dispute, because Government of Maharashtra is witness to your will. So if I want to register, perfectly okay. I don't want to register, that is also perfectly okay. So this is a way of a codicil. Here, let me give you example to understand better 3-4 example. I can make will of my property, not of HUF property or somebody else. Here, the very famous case of Gwalior Maharaja. Jiaja of Scindia was the Maharaja of Gwalior. He passed away in 1949. He had lot of asset, because Gwalior family and Jaipur family had lot of asset because they were friendly with Akbar. Whereas Jodhpur Maharaja, Udaipur Maharaja was not friendly with Akbar. So they were not having much asset. Because understanding was that whenever some land is acquired, that will go to Akbar Basha. Whatever money is got, it will go to Raja Maharajas. So But now real estate value has gone up, so Udaipur family, Jodhpur family, all have become rich. Otherwise, Gwalior and Jaipur was rich family. When Gwalior Maharaja was raided, truckload of jewelry was found. Now, Jihadjirao Scindia passed away in 1949. That time he had 4 daughters and 1 son. One daughter was even Chief Minister of Rajasthan, Vasundhara Raje Scindia. His one son, Madhavrao Scindia, of course, he also passed away. And all were minor, 5 children were minor. So mother, Vijaya Raje Scindia, was looking as a guardian, was acting on behalf of the HUF of Jihadjirao Scindia, individual assets of Jihadjirao Scindia, and Maharani had her own asset also, Rajmata, Vijaya Raje Scindia. Somewhere in 1976, there was emergency. Indira Gandhi arrested all Atal Bihari Vajpayee and L.K. Advani and Arun Jaitley and all persons were behind the bar. Vijaya Raje Scindia was also arrested. That time, Gwalior Maharaja, Madhavrao Scindia, had left the country and he went to England, which government was not knowing. So what happened? When Maharaja emergency was removed, Indira Gandhi lost the election. Then Maharaja came back and he became very friendly with Rajiv Gandhi. And later on, Rajiv Gandhi was the Prime Minister of the country. That time, Maharani Rajmata, Vijaya Raje Scindia have not liked that idea of joining other party. Was she was the one of the founder of the Bharatiya Janata Party, or that time known as Janata Party, and before that Swatantra Party. So that time, what happened? Fight between mother and son started. Mother has filed 50 cases against the son, and son has filed 50 cases against the mother. Litigation was going on. So mother made one will before her death, and she has given everything to 4 daughters equally, including HUF property. And Jihadjirao Scindia's individual property and Maharani's own, Rajmata's own property. After her death, they applied for the probate. Madhavrao Scindia objected, filed objection in the court, and matter went to Supreme Court. And Supreme Court said that Maharani was acting as a guardian of all 5 children because children are minor. And she cannot make a will of HUF property. She cannot make a will of the individual property of Jihadjirao Scindia. She can make will of her own property. Finally, Maharaja succeeded. 5 shares were made and everyone got 20% equally, all 4 daughters and Maharaja. So what I want to convey, I can make will of my property and not somebody else's property. I cannot make a will of my HUF property also. I may be manager, I may be karta, but they belong to the whole family. Their property belong to my wife, my son, my daughter. Whole family is involved in that. So we cannot make a will of HUF property. Another case, I can do whatever I want with my properties. There is a very famous case of Bidla family. In Bidla, Calcutta, one branch was there in Calcutta. Normally, Bidlas were basically from Calcutta, but they had substantial interest in Bombay. But one Bidla branch, husband and wife, 2 persons were there, no children. Husband had wealth of 10,000 crore. Wife had wealth of 3,000 crore. Both made a will. Husband has given everything to wife and wife has given everything to husband. One day, husband passed away. The wife inherited asset was 10,000 crore. So lady who had already had 3,000 crore, now got 10,000 crore more. So her wealth was 13,000. That time what happened? Lady made one will in favor of one chartered accountant, Mr. Lodha. Lodha and Company, which we all know as a chartered accountant. Now, one day lady passed away. Lodha ji applied for the probate or returned to the Bidla company ke transfer shares in name of Mr. Lodha. That time Bidla family objected. They say in our family there is a tradition. Any brother or brother's wife, any family member passed away, and no legal heir is that family, that fund to go Bidla charities. And that is used for the purpose of education, medical, and other charitable causes, irrespective of caste and creed. Finally, matter went to Supreme Court. Senior advocates were appointed. And that time court said, this 13,000 crore was the personal asset of Mrs. Bidla. She can do charity. She can give to Mr. Lodha. She can give to any other person. Family tradition is not binding. If they accept a family tradition, fine. Otherwise, legally it is not binding. So accordingly, Lodha ji succeeded. And he got asset for 13,000 crore. So Lodha ji ke naseeb mein bhi nahi tha wo paisa. Within 15 days, Lodha ji himself passed away. And his 2 children, Abhinandan Lodha and some another, they got asset for 13,000 crore from the Bidla family, of course, through the father. And today, Bombay Hospital, Industrial House, all belong to Lodha. So what I want to say, my property, I can do whatever I want. There is no restriction on anything by making a will. Otherwise, Hindu Succession Act will apply. Here, normally many person comes because we last 5 years budget, we always see before declaration of budget, always we see there is a rumor in the market, particularly when morning walk where those person go, they also hear ki inheritance tax is coming, which was they were in our country up to 28 February 1982, known as a estate duty, and which was there up to 85% in those days. Even gift tax was there at the rate of 85%. Wealth tax was there at the rate of 13%. Income tax was there at the rate of 97.75%. And those days, nobody was paying taxes properly. And government was getting from income tax only 1% collection of total revenue. Rest was coming from excise and custom. But government realized later on they removed the estate duty in 1982. They removed gift tax in 1997. Removed wealth tax in 2015. Removed expenditure tax somewhere in 1981. And GST, of course, they have come, but that is only 18% or maximum 28%. But those days it was 60% expenditure tax. So that time, so morning whenever any person come, he hear about the estate duty on inheritance tax, because our Indian laws are based on USA and UK. USA mein estate duty is there. UK also estate duty is there. They known as inheritance tax. The person feel kind of inheritance tax will come. So they plan their way. In case of death, government will take a lot of money. So they want to distribute to the children in their lifetime. They want to give gift to the children. And a lot of concession has been given by the government also. Today I want to give gift of my flat, which may be worth 10 crore rupee. But stamp duty payable is only 500 rupee. Registration payable is only 200 rupee. I can give gift to my spouse. I can give to my children, my grandchildren. And my son passed away, then his wife also. And only 500 rupee or 200 rupee registration fees. But here my advice to all my client is, if you have an excess asset, then give to children. There is no bar. But if you have a limited asset, don't part with the children. Keep with you sufficient money for you after your death to your spouse. And after that, you have a substantial excess money, give to children as a gift if you want. If you have a limited asset, only one office, 1 or 2 car, reasonable amount in FDR, one house, don't give to children, keep with you. Because here I'll give you 2 examples. There's a person called Vijayappa Singhania, who is the owner of a Raymond. He had 2 sons. One was settled 30-40 years back in Singapore. He was a separate from family. And another son called Gautam Singhania. Another son was called Gautam Singhania. And he was staying with the father, taking full care of father also. One day, Gautam Singhania came to Mr. Vijayappa Singhania, ki after your death, elder brother will come to India and he will claim the right. Father said, I will make a will in your favor. He said, even you make a will, brother can challenge always, and there can be a litigation. Father was convinced with the argument, and he said, okay, beta, I will give you everything whatever I have in my lifetime to you only by way of a gift. You give me one flat of 2-bedroom hall. Give me one car with a driver for which you will pay the money, and give me every month 5 lakh of rupee. So we husband and wife will stay separately and everything belong to you only. He made all the document. Because of some misunderstanding, Gautam Singhania said, I will not, after getting the money, he has not provided home to father, no car, no driver, no money. Then he left with no money. Everything is given to the son in lifetime. Of course, a rich person, many rich friends were there. They were helping him, taken a flat on a rent and staying there. Had he not made any will in his lifetime, he had not given in lifetime by way of a gift, he was sufficient. He could have made a will. Agar inheritance tax aata tha to bacche bharte the. But he given everything to lifetime. So always make sure, whenever, because will is applicable to we also, chartered accountant. Or whenever you advise our client, we say we keep sufficient money for you. Keep rather more than sufficient money for you and your wife. Your wife is first responsibility. And if you have access, distribute to the children. Similarly, another case of one Mr. Raija builder, GL Raija. There also same thing has happened. Raija is the pioneer of the multi-story building. Any builder meet the Raija, it touches the feet of Mr. Raija, a very senior person. He also had a wealth of 16,000 crore. He had distributed in his lifetime to his son and daughter. Later on, situation have come, he was not provided the food. He was not provided the clothes. And finally, he was staying in one floor, a room which was locked. And later on, Sushil Kumar Sunde, who was the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, past Chief Minister, was very friendly with Raija. And he came to know Police have come, broken the room, taken Mr. Raja out, and Mr. Raja is staying in a Delhi in a bungalow of Sushil Kumar Sindhe. So what I want to convey, don't give to children in a lifetime. Give as per the will, or let them pay the stamp duty. Because otherwise you will be nowhere if you give in a lifetime. Here I'll give you another example and shift to another topic. One person was there where I was staying earlier in building in Malabar Hill in Neeraj building. Now he shifted to Giriraj building. There one person was there, his name was Bachu Bhai. He had 4 children and 1 wife. Eldest children was really very, very intelligent. He went to Japan, earned lot of money, and very rich person. And father had full confidence in that child, he will take care of my other children. His 3 children were not up to that mark, they were very simple. And apne हिंदी में कहावत है, बहुत भोले थे बच्चे. Father made a will, everything given to the first son. And he was impressing, he will take care. After death of a father, he told all the 3 children, the father has given to me, you go away from the home. All 3 children have left, settled in Vasai and Virar. He requested mommy also to leave the home. And I was the secretary that time. I called him, and of course I've taken my chairman and treasurer into confidence. And I told him, your father has also made another will and given to me. So we will, if you remove your mother, we will open that will. And you will not get anything. I know we were not having anything. Suki dhamki usko di humne aur kaam aa gayi. Then he said, what is the way out? I said, way out is that till your mother is alive, you can't remove your mother. After her death, yes, property belongs to you. So accordingly, he made an affidavit given to the society. We kept in society record, and mother was staying there till her death. But he is not given a single paisa to the mother. There was one garage she is given on a rent, one parking space, and she was earning 3,000 rupees per month. From that, she was running her home. So friends, we must advise to our client, if you have excess amount, give to children in lifetime, not otherwise. Very clearly, that's what I personally feel. Now friends, I told you, will ka there is no prescribed format. Only thing, name of relative, your name, address, movable property, immovable property, and how it will be distributed. Who will be executor? And write one clause, if I acquire more property, how it will go? If I reduce some property, how it will go? Signature, each and every page, 2 witnesses, name, address, and signature. If that is done in good handwriting, leaving margin, left, right, up, down, perfectly valid will. After death of a person, if you get the property, many clients ask the question, kya stamp duty lagega? No stamp duty. If you receive something under inheritance, as per the will or under inheritance, no stamp duty is applicable. No income tax. Even income tax is not applicable if you are getting property under the will. But when I sell that property, then yes, of course, capital had for example, I inherited something from my father. Had my father sold the property in his lifetime, he was liable to pay income tax. So same will come on me also. Here, let me give an example. My father passed away in 2017. As per his will, I got one plot. My father purchased that plot somewhere in 1953 when I was born, and he paid that time 300 rupees. After his death, within 6 months, I sold that plot. I got 3 crore rupees. Now, had my father sold that property in 3 crore, he was liable to pay the tax. So same will apply to me. Even I was not holding the asset for more than 2 years or 3 years. So what is the date of acquisition of my father? 1953 will be taken as my date of acquisition. Even I was, for example, I was not born that time when my father had purchased some property and I got inheritance. Then their father's date will be my date. Cost of my father will be my cost. So my father purchased in 1953. So this was a long-term asset in my hand. Even I was holding only for 6 months after death of my father. My father purchased in 1953 for 300 rupees. So had my father sold, he was able to substitute the market value of 1st April 2001. So I also get the same benefit. Market value of their property in 2001 was 20 lakh rupees. So I will get indexation 3.17 times. So say worth 60 lakh rupees. So I sold the property for 6 crore. 60 lakh is my cost. So that is tax free. Gain is only 2 crore 40 lakh. Out of 240, 50 lakh I deposited in certain bonds under section 54 EC. So I not paid any tax. My money is blocked for 5 years. I will be earning interest of 5%, but no capital gain tax. Remaining 1 crore 90 lakh left over after claiming 60 lakh and 50 lakh. That I purchased one flat in a Bhayandar investment and I got possession within 3 years and I'm holding the property for 3 years. So I'm not liable to pay any tax on that. Because had my father was, whatever he was allowed to do, I can do the same thing even after my inheritance, after receipt of the money also. So that is so no income tax short mein. If my sell the property, then yes. Many times lady came to me while making a will. They say, Vimal bhai, I have a jewelry, but if I write in my will, and if I passed away, whether my children will have problem from income tax. Your mother, where the jewelry was declared, how your mother has acquired the jewelry, what is the source of the jewelry. Friends, on 18th of February 1994, our Finance Minister Sri Manmohan Singh issued one circular number 1416 of 18th February 1994, and there they said a married woman can have gold ornament to the extent of 500 gram, means 50 tola. Unmarried can have to the extent of 250 gram, means 25 tola. And male can have to the extent of 100 gram, means roughly 10 tola. And no question will be asked. During the raid also, they cannot seize that. They cannot ask any question what is source of this. So up to this, if you sow, there is no question, no problem. But for example, and this applies to every community, whether it is Christian or Parsi or Muslim or Hindu. Hindu means I told you, Jain, Sikh, Buddha, all are part of Hindu. Similar way, this is the minimum. If my peon's wife can have gold ornament to the extent of 500 gram, then definitely my wife can have 1000 gram. Gwalior Maharaja can have 20,000 gram. So looking to the status of a person, this figure can increase also. So up to that extent, if you have sown, no question will be asked by the income tax department. So easily 500, 250, 100 can be sown very easily. Even during the course of raid, for example, 4 brothers are staying together. All 4 are married. So each lady will have 500, so 2000 gram. For example, they have 3 children, 2 girls, 1 boy. So each girl 250, boy 100. All 4 brothers 100 each. Accordingly, for example, it work out to 3000 gram, means 300 tolas. And is found only in one wife, not other ladies found only 10 tolas. One lady found with 250 tolas. But in joint family, it is assumed that jewelry of A lying with B, is lying with C, C lying with D, and total jewelry is to be seen. So if this much jewelry is there, you write in a will, there is no problem. Many times my friend chartered accountant, they come to me and they ask the question. Okay, when they purchase the property, they paid a lot of on money. Whether by writing in a will, giving property to somebody, whether that question will come up. As on today, department accepted, there is no question. Now, friend, here I will tell you, major amendment in Income Tax Act, till 2020, what was the law? ITO had right to travel beyond earlier 6 years. If you purchase something 6 years before, no question can be asked. But by the raid, income tax raid conducted, and each year, if amount involved is more than 50 lakh rupees concealment, then department can travel up to 10 years, 6 plus more 4 years. If I have an account in a foreign country, then department can go up to 16 years. Now, what is the amendment in 2000? Very major amendment. The 6 year has been reduced to 3 years. So ITO cannot reopen earlier to 3 years. But amount involved is more than 50 lakh of rupee per year. Then department can travel up to 10 years. And of course, foreign account up to 16 years. If I have no money in outside India, my raid is not taken place, then beyond 3 years, department cannot ask any question to anyone. So whatever happened 3 years back, forget about that, chapter is over. Another important amendment, earlier ITO used to reopen the cases by issuing notice under 148. Then in response to that, we have to file the return. After filing the return, we have to ask the copy of reason recorded. Why ITO is reopened, what information he has got. And once he give me reason recorded, then I was allowed to file objection. So ITO has to reject that objection. If he passed the order without rejecting the objection, order was banned in law. Supreme Court has said it in number of cases. Now what is the law? They have to give you first reason first. Under section 148A, they will give you reason first. This is the information I have. And I want to reopen your cases. So you file your objection first. After filing my objection, if ITO satisfied with my objection, he will drop the proceeding. If he not satisfied, then he will issue notice under 148 and start the proceedings. So 3 years, earlier 7 years, and foreign account 16 years. That is the law as on today. Department cannot, for 3 years also, ITO need approval of the principal commissioner. Earlier to 3 years, up to 10 years, he need approval of the principal chief commissioner. And for an account also, principal of the chief commissioner. So that is law, lot of benefit has been given now recently. Faceless assessment, faceless appeal, we all know. Today only I met Sitaraman, our finance minister. They were meeting at 2 o'clock in Mr. Lodha's premises. On Mr. Jaitley's memorial was there. And there also they talk about faceless assessment. And data has proved that because of faceless assessment and faceless appeal, corruption have disappeared in income tax. And tribunal will also become faceless by April 2023. So faceless also given a good result. Otherwise, corruption was not reducing. More we talk, more it was increasing. Recently, Mr. V.H. Patil passed away. And he told me earlier when he was alive, if Vimal give me, like me, he told at least 100%. Give me 3 names of any honest officer. And believe me, after waiting for 6 months, nobody was able to give him a single name also. But now things have changed. Things are under very much control and corruption have practically reduced. So now, friends, proceed further. I told you, as far as executor is concerned, any person can be executor. As far as witness is concerned, beneficiary of the will to be avoided. If he's getting part of the inheritance, then yes, substantial amount is getting, then beneficiary cannot be a witness. Under Parsi and Christian law, beneficiary cannot be a witness. Even he is getting 1 rupee. And under Muslim law, witness is not even required. So that is the basic thing. We are more concentrating on our Hindu law. Registration, I told you, it is optional. By registering, government of Maharashtra become your witness. And if I want to register my will, then what I have to do? I take the one good copy of the will. If it is in Hindi, English, Marathi, Gujarati, perfectly okay. I can take the will original. In other language, then I have to get it translated in one of the languages out of 4, this, anyone. And I include the original will along with the translated version. I have to include along with that my Aadhaar card or PAN card. And I have to obtain a doctor's certificate. I am mentally fit to make a will. If I am not registering, doctor certificate is not required. If I want to register, the registrar will take the doctor certificate also. If person is making a will and he want to register and the person is very, very old, then sometimes registrar also asks, uncle or auntie, you are making a will knowingly, there is no pressure on you, you are distributing your asset after your death, and accordingly he will satisfy that the will is perfectly okay, there is no pressure on the person, there is no, the person who is making a will is the same person with ID card, photograph, he will verify, and accordingly will be registered. But equally, unregistered will have the same value what registered will have. It is optional, but if registered, definitely 1 point, plus point is there. In case of a litigation, registered will have more value. I always advise my client to avoid litigation. If once you are involved in a litigation, it will not end for 20 years. In my office, whenever I make a will, I always put one last clause. Any of my legal heir challenge my will, he will not get anything. Because you cannot stop anyone in going into litigation. But my wish is there, anyone challenges, he will not get anything. So after litigation also, he will not get anything. Oh, that is my wish. Nobody can force me to give asset to him. So I'm putting a condition, any person go under litigation or challenge my will, then he will not get anything. So now litigation is reduced. But once litigation start, it endless litigation. I will give you an example here. Justice Balakrishnan retired 10 years back as a Chief Justice of Supreme Court. Bombay High Court judges have given a party, farewell party. He came to Mumbai. Outsiders also invited many person. I was also there in one of the invitees. And Balakrishnan said that time, I still remember word to word. He said, I'm retiring today. I'm going with very heavy heart because when I'm retiring, 3.70 crore cases are pending in various courts. Maybe Supreme Court, 22 High Court, 72 benches of Income Tax Appellate Tribunal, Excise Tribunal, Custom Tribunal, GST Tribunal. That time, of course, GST was not there, Sale Tax Tribunal, and all small causes court, city civil court. And he said the present speed cases are going on. If some reconciliation or arbitration or new thing is not amended, this will to decide 303.70 crore cases. If no new case is admitted, then the present speed, it will take 330 years to decide this. And his position is not only this much, it is worse than that. One case is disposed of, 2 are admitted before that. So friends, try to avoid litigation. So that way, Litigation is to be avoided. And now what is the probate? Let us assume will is there. If I file nomination, then accordingly property will be distributed. For certain situation, nomination is not allowed. Like for example, I have a bungalow on a land which belongs to the collector of Mumbai or Bombay Municipal Corporation. Land belong to Bombay Municipal Corporation, BMC, or state government, or central government, or Salt Commission, or Bombay Port Trust. Then they will not accept my nomination. They will transfer only in case I obtain the probate. Now, what is the probate? We have to make a petition to the court. Probate fees in Maharashtra is 75,000 rupee. In West Bengal, 50,000 rupee. Tamil Nadu, it is 25,000 rupee. And other part of the country, like Rajasthan, Gujarat, probate is not important. Only big SSC, Raja Maharajas, they take only probate. Otherwise, you file an indemnity bond or declaration, they accept everything. After death of my father, my all father's property were transferred to our fourth brother. We don't obtain any probate. But Bombay, mein, even a small thing, you need probate. It has become like a fashion. Many times society secretary don't even understand. You file nomination form, still we say probate लेके आओ. So then you explain him कि nomination का मतलब ही है कि probate नहीं लाने का, as per nomination you to transfer, and which is a binding on secretary of the society. So accordingly, what is the probate? You have to make a proper petition, enclose the original will along with that. That will be not returned back to you at all. Court will keep for 45 days on the notice board that so and so probate have come, and accordingly, judge after no objection come, all legal heir give the NOC. Yes, it is binding on me. Legal heir means wife, son, and daughter. If son passed away, then daughter-in-law. Son-in-law have no right. If daughter passed away, then her children. If son passed away, then daughter-in-law and her children. Then my son's children. Accordingly, they will give undertaking. Yes, will is acceptable to us. This is very funny. Person make a will, but still he need letter of the legal heirs. And that time you have, so try make a document in such a way, avoid probate. But if you take the probate, then you need consent of all the legal heirs. And otherwise, court will serve the summon to them, and court will ask for the certificate. And once all family members agree, then probate will be granted. Probate need not be registered again. On basis of probate, all property will be transferred. That way, I always suggest my client, if whenever you make any will, make sure all immovable property, bank FDR, bank account, locker, make a nomination at the same time. And nomination is also binding. For example, I made a nomination in favor of my wife. When I not made any will, my intention is very clear. After my death, my money will go, my flat will go to my wife. But in case my wife sell the flat, and for example, she get 9 crore rupee, she will not able to keep with her 9 crore. She have to give 3 crore to my son, 3 crore to my daughter, and she will able to keep only 3 crore. If my mother is alive, then she can keep only 2.25 crore. Mother will get 2.25, son will get 2.25, and daughter will get 2.25. So my intention is to give to my wife, along with the nomination, I must make will also. Then only my wife will have 100% right in the property. By making a will, I can do a lot of tax planning also. I can provide, for my son have no HUF. My brothers have no HUF. My sister's husband have no HUF. So in my will, I can provide a 1 lakh will be given to this person for their HUF. And that money will go to the HUF and their parallel file will be created. So whatever benefit is given to individual, same will given to HUF. Of course, now the wealth tax and gift tax is not there. Otherwise, HUF will get separate deduction of 15 lakh under the wealth tax. Individual will get another 15 lakh. Today, for my income, yearly income is 30 lakh rupee. I'm supposed to pay tax of, say, for example, 10 lakh rupee on that. If I divide in two parts, 15 lakh to HUF, 15 lakh to individual, then my tax will reduce to 4 lakh. I may save 6 lakh rupee. So that way, every extra file, we save a substantial amount of tax, which vary from 3 lakh to and more. So HUF file also can be created. I can, my son have a lot of wealth, my daughter-in-law don't have, or my grandchildren don't have. I can provide more for them. I can give under the will to my daughter. So whatever way I want to distribute, I can do. So tax planning also is possible. I can make equal distribution. I may make unequal distribution. I can give more to somebody who have no capital. I can give less to somebody who have got capital. And accordingly, tax planning also is possible. Under the will, very important thing, you can make a trust also. Under the will, you can make only one trust, not more than one. Earlier, more than one was allowed. But recently for one client, he is politically very well connected, very rich person, big builder. There we made a 8 trust in lifetime only, with a capital of 10 crore, 10 lakh rupee each. And it will he has written how much money will go to the trust. He has one very big bungalow. The maintenance cost of the bungalow is nearly 1 crore rupee per year. So he knows after his death, children will not maintain the bungalow in that way in which he is maintaining. So his standard of living will go down. There may be 2 sons. One may spend the money, second may not spend. He may not have the capacity to spend. So what he has done, made a family bungalow trust, Bombay Bungalow Trust, and he said, I'm transferring 10 lakh now. And after my death, as per will, 15 crore rupee will come to this trust. So with the interest income, the bungalow will be maintained. So after his death also, bungalow will be maintained in the way in which he wants. There is another bungalow in Rajasthan. For that, he made a separate trust. And after his death, 10 crore will go to that trust. The capital of that person is nearly 500 crore rupee. He made another trust known as a family trust. He started with 10 lakh. After his death, 50 crore will come to this trust. And that will be used only for the purpose of medical expenditure, household expenditure, education of children, and various other areas, family requirement. He made another trust, which is known as a business trust. There 200 crore will come. And any family member who want to do a business, can a family member is defined in the trust deed itself, beneficiaries, and they will get 3% per annum. They will be given a loan for the purpose of business. And after business is over and liquidity available, he has to pay back to the trust with the interest. So nobody can misuse the fund. And accordingly, he made 4 family this type of trust. 5th trust, he made a cricket trust. He said after 10 lakh started, after my death, 10 crore will come to this trust, and interest will be used only for the promotion of the cricket. If any new person come, he wants scholarship, he wants something, that trust will take care of that. He made one trust known as the Kalakar Trust. He has all family, TV star or film star comes and they need some money, he will give from that trust. One he made as a medical and education trust. 50 crore will come to that trust. He started with 10 lakh now. And interest will be used only for the purpose of higher education, medical, education, and capital will remain intact in the bank, only interest will be used. And one he made political trust because very much connected with the politics. So he started with 200 crore rupee in a political trust, and that income will be used only for the purpose of giving donation to the political party, and he have his own party also to that party. Then he said, if anything left over at a time of my death, everything will go to political trust only. He is not given directly to the children. In this way, he is given. So trust will go on and on and on for year after year, and accordingly, family will be maintained. So that way also, planning is possible by making a trust and keeping money in the will. So under the will, we can make only one trust and not more than one. Now, friends, what is the nomination? Nomination where you appoint a trustee. Under the will, you appoint the beneficiary. I've given an example of my wife. For example, she is that I file nomination in her favor. She will help society. She can go, she can do anything, she can sell the property, but money will go as per the Hindu law. If I make a will also and give to my wife, she is 100% owner. So money will be distributed as per the will or Hindu law, Hindu Succession Act. But nominee, you are appointing a trustee for interim period. For example, I made a nomination in favor of my son, and a will I have given the property to my wife. Is she right later to the society? Then society will not transfer in name of my son. If she have no objection, or I made a nomination in favor of my son and will also I made in favor of son, then there is no problem. He is the beneficial owner. He is a nominee also. So nominee is you are appointing a trustee, like policy holder, like insurance policy or bank FDR or saving account or bank locker or shares of Indian companies or demat account, whatever systems are available, we can appoint nominee. In cooperative society, when you make the simple form, will can be made by 4 or 5 category of person. I told you more than 18 years, sound mind. Same condition apply to nominee also. Who cannot make a will cannot make nomination also. Same condition will apply. First nomination is always a free. You don't have to pay any charges. If you want to make a second nomination, second time, society can charge you maximum 5 rupees, but no society charges. So similarly, I can change the will every day. I can make change nomination also. But in nomination, you can appoint. I cannot make will of HUO property. A firm where my partner. So similar, whatever conditions are there in the will, I cannot make will of company where I'm director, or a partner in a partnership firm, or trustee of the charitable trust, or karta of HUF, or my employer where I'm working. I may sign check of, I may be manager of Bank of Baroda. On my signature, check of 500 crore can pass, but that money don't belong to me. That belong to Bank of Baroda. So I cannot buy nomination in that situation also. In nomination, I repeat again, you are appointing an interim period as an executor and not a beneficiary. But under will, I appoint directly beneficiary. Now here, similar way, nominee have right to receive, but end of the day, he has to distribute as per the will or as per Hindu Succession Act. If I appoint single nominee, then form number 15A is to be used. I appoint multiple nominee. I appoint under nominee my wife, my son, my daughter, all. And will also I make a 1/3 to my wife, 1/3 to son, 1/3 to daughter. Then the multiple nominee, I have to file form number 15B. I have to make 3 copies of the nomination form. I have to write name, my flat number, etc. Name and address of the nominee, my relationship with that person. Any minor is there, then age, and who will be natural guardian till attain the age of 21. Because if nominee or will, I give something to nominee, he will get only on attaining the age of 21. He become major at the age of 18. After 18, he can make his will, but he will get the property. If he is a major, more than 18-year-old, he will get property directly. But in case at the time of my death, he is a minor, he will get at the age of 21 only. Okay, 18 person is not that mature. So whenever you get as per the nomination, 3 forms will be filed, 2 witnesses has to sign, my signature will be there, and then 3 copies I will go to society. Society will take 2 copies, and third way they put a rubber stamp and give me back acknowledgement receipt. Within 15 days, they will call the meeting. General body committee meeting will be there. In principally, they will approve the nomination. If they have some doubt about signature, they will call that member, make sure that this is his signature only. And accordingly, they will enter in their nomination register. And second form will be given back to the party, and original society will keep them after entering in the nomination register. After my death, my legal heir will file letter to the society, include the copy of nomination form. Also given, and a person nominee is not a member of society, then he has to give application form. If it's already joint owner or member name is there, then of course don't have to give application. He has to give an indemnity. Tomorrow, if any legal heir claim anything, he is the responsible, and accordingly, flat will be transferred in the name of nominee. Nominee can sell the property, but he has to distribute as per the will or as per Hindu Succession Act. Nominee cannot further appoint nominee because he is holding himself. In case I appointed nominee Mr. A, and A passed away before my death, then nomination will come to an end, and it will be treated there is no nominee. If nominee is alive, then it will go to nominee, and he has to distribute further. If no nomination is filed, but society knows it is my property, I'm staying there for last 30-40 years, then also society can transfer by taking application form, death certificate, indemnity bond, nominee in case of the name is not there, then new fresh membership application. And if society insists, sometimes they insist, then we have to give advertisement in 2 newspapers, one in Marathi, one in English. And after giving a public notice, even without nomination also, society can transfer. All law has been prescribed in the Cooperative Society Act, and everything is permitted there. In case of a will, if property is to be transferred where no nomination is there, and property is not in the cooperative society, or even in the cooperative society and some litigation is there, then of course you have to obtain a probate. If there is no will, then you have to obtain a successor certificate. In case of a movable property, in case of immovable property, letter of administration. And system of all 3, whether the letter of administration or successor certificate or probate, are at par. What I explained to you for probate, same system. But probate, it takes normally 8 to 10 months. Succession certificate and letter of administration normally take 4 to 6 months. Expenditure also is less. In probate, Maharashtra we have to pay 75,000 rupee fees because it, of course, it is percentage wise, but normally even a small flat in Maharashtra, Bombay cost more than 1 crore rupee. So we normally say 75,000 बनने का है. Advocate who attend to this work normally charge 50,000 to 1 lakh rupee. So it is a little costly affair. And in case of a letter of administration or succession certificate, cost will become roughly 50% of the original cost. After death of a person, you have to file return of the legal, that estate of the deceased person. Then you have to obtain a heirship certificate, which also court normally grant. And that procedure has been prescribed in income tax also, how to obtain the heirship certificate. And the heir will sign the return and accordingly it will proceed further. Many times it happens after death of a person, even nomination is filed or no nomination is filed, but share is to be transferred. And you are not able to get the share certificate. You search here and there, but where the person is kept, or somebody in the family has just kept with him original certificate, and it is not traceable. Then we can apply to society for issue of a duplicate share certificate, and duplicate share certificate can be obtained by making an application to the society, by giving indemnity bond to the society. If tomorrow original is found, we will surrender back to society. And 2 notices to be given in public notice, one in Marathi, one in English in public notice in newspaper, and accordingly society will issue duplicate share certificate. Now once duplicate is issued, then original have no value. Here let me give you an example. I went to Surat few years back. Whenever you go to institute for some lecture outside Bombay, they send you a ticket. So I got a ticket from Surat to Bombay to Surat, and return ticket they send me Xerox copy. They say original sir, when you will come, we'll give you. I went there. I'm given lecture on search and seizure or whatever topic was there. I had my food, and evening man, 2 persons were there with me, and they came to drop me at the railway station. And suddenly I remember I don't have the original ticket from Surat to Bombay. I had a Xerox. So I told him, original kiske paas hai, mere ko do. So everyone is searching the pocket and nobody was having the original. But they were powerful person. They've taken my Xerox and went to and Xerox they were also having. They went to station master and obtained the duplicate ticket. They given me duplicate ticket. Meantime, person who was holding the original ticket, he also come running because he was in tension. The ticket is with him, so he has given me original also. Now I have 3 tickets: original ticket, duplicate ticket, and Xerox copy. So original I kept in a pocket, duplicate ticket and Xerox I destroyed there and there only on platform. Train started, TC came. He said ticket. I've shown him the original ticket. He says, sir, this ticket is already cancelled. So I will T2H without ticket, and you have to pay penalty. Now, friends, same system apply for the share certificate also. If original duplicate is issued, then original have no meaning. If somebody is keeping original, let him keep. And if you found, either you destroy or give back to the society. Original certificate will be not operative. Duplicate whatever issued will be operative. Here I will give you an example of one case. One Ghanekar family was there. Husband, wife, son and daughter. And they were staying in Juhu area. They were having one bungalow. Daughter got married, shifted to Borivali. Son, as usual, mother-in-law and daughter-in-law dispute was going on. So son also shifted to Kandivali in another flat. Later on, they made one family arrangement. Mr. Ghanekar have right to use the bungalow for whole of his life. After his life, his wife will able to use the bungalow. And after the death of both the person, it will go to the son. And whatever FDR and other amount will go to the daughter. And then the agreement they will sign in lifetime. Before this agreement, husband have also filed nomination form with the society in favor of the wife. One day, Mr. Ghanekar passed away. His wife went to the society, given an application along with the indemnity or whatever paper required, and requested to transfer the property name of Mrs. Ghanekar. Society was not aware of the family settlement, and society is not concerned also. Nomination is binding on the society. And accordingly, flat was transferred, bungalow was transferred in name of Mrs. Ghanekar. She agreed to sell that bungalow to one Mr. Vardhaman Builders for some X amount, 50 crore or something. Vardhan Builder have given public notice in newspaper. Son have read that. And son have filed case against the Vardhan Builder as well as against the mother. He said, as per the family settlement, I am the owner. My mother have only right to stay. She cannot sell. Anyway, matter went to Supreme Court. Court decided, yes, if lifetime a person is given their property to somebody by family settlement or by gift deed, that person will have more power than the nomination or a will. If I already flat, I've given gift to my son in my lifetime, and a will I give to my wife will not get anything. Then of course, Vardhan Builder was the builder. He settled with the son and wife and got the property, and today multi-story building is standing there. That is a different situation. So if I've already parted with the property in my lifetime, then even I give to somebody in a will or nomination, I have no meaning. If I'm not given in my lifetime and file a nomination, a person will holding as a trustee, and whatever person will get under the will is the beneficial owner. That is the whole summary of this thing. So of course, will is much superior document than the nomination. Now, friends, here before I proceed to the daughter's right, let me give you for question answer. We routinely, even today morning, I give a lecture on the same topic before the Gujarati community. Kawa, Kachhi Gujarati, some association was there. So so whatever question they have asked, I just noted and I will just repeat. So later on, they will be no last question. What is the will and benefit of making a will? I told you after my death, how I want to transfer the property. The document is known as a will. And how I want to transfer, property will be distributed. That is a benefit of the will. In way I want, it will be go like that way. Should everybody, working or non-working person, make a will? Yes. Friends, when we are born, our death is certain. So it is advisable to make a will at any age. Later on, your priority may change. For example, I'm not married. My priority is my parents. After my marriage, my priority is my wife and my children. So I can always change the will, but it is advisable to make a will to avoid litigation. Where should people keep a will? At what age? Any age is fine. Whether tenanted property can be willed, very important question. Every time it comes. In Bombay, we have more than 20,000 old building, which is 75-year-old plus old. All are due for redevelopment. In at least 3,000 buildings are there in a Kalba Devi, Girgam, Opera House and Kulaba. And every monsoon, 10-15 building collapse. And hundreds of persons dies every year in monsoon. So government has given number of incentives. Legally speaking, tenanted property cannot be built. When we get the property, other than ownership right, there are three ways: tenancy right, leave and license right, and lease right. Now, tenancy is covered under Maharashtra Rent Control Act. Leave and license is covered under Easement Act. And lease right is covered under Transfer of Property Act. Separate rate of stamp duty, separate rights, separate duties, separate benefits. We will not go into those details. As far as leave and license is concerned, it is for a particular person. On death of that person, license come to an end. It is not transferred to legal heir. In case of a lease may be for 60 years, for example. 30 years is already over. Remaining 30 years will be transferred to the legal heirs. So lease old property, you always can make a will. It is like ownership, but for a limited period. Tenancy right, you cannot make a will. It is known as a monthly tenancy. If I pay rent of a 1 month, automatically second month is renewed. Our laws are such that once you give property on tenancy, you cannot take back that property. You can take only two situations: person default in making the rent payment for more than 6 months, then you can go in court of law. Or you need the property for your own use, landlord need for his own use, then he can file a case against the tenant. Otherwise, you go on paying the rent, automatically renew. Legally speaking, tenanted property cannot be built. But lot of benefit has been given in that nowadays. Government said, if for example, FSI of 4 is consumed, you can construct FSI of 8 in that situation. 4 will be given to old tenant, and old tenant, even he holding 100 square feet of room, he will get minimum 400 square feet. So accordingly, all benefit. And whatever you give to tenant, whatever quantity you have to give to tenant, that much extra you can construct. Free sale. So builders are benefited, old tenants are benefited, landlord is benefited, everyone is benefited. So builder lot of money give to the old tenant. Of course, area he gives 400 square feet. If his area, present area is up to 750, less than 400 he's got, minimum he's going to get 400. If area is more than 400 but less than 750, he will get whatever area he owning as on today. If area is more than 750, then he will get minimum 750. In case of residential and commercial, whatever he is holding, he will get that much. Now, under tenancy right, under redevelopment, old flat owner get rent for 3 years. Whatever time building will take under construction, he is paid rent. He is paid hardship allowance. He give lot of money to the society as a corpus. Which society will keep in FDR and will maintain the building in future. And all are tax free. Hardship allowance, whatever received, is tax free in view of the Supreme Court decision of BC Srinivasan Setty's case. Wherever there is no cost and you receive something, you are not liable to pay the tax because you cannot work out the capital gain. Of course, 5 exceptions are there. Tenancy, later on it was added in 1994. If you sell tenancy to somebody and get the money, you are supposed to pay capital gain tax. But again, here you are giving for redevelopment. So you are getting hardship allowance. You are not giving anything to anybody. Earlier I was having 100 square feet, I am getting 400 square feet. So the whole amount is tax free. And Bombay High Court in Pandol case and many other cases followed that. Goodwill, of course, is taxable. Road permit, loom permit, they are taxable, even there is no cost. And paintings are taxable, even there is no cost. Except the 5 exception. Wherever you get money, and when there is no cost to your asset to you, whole amount is tax free, it is 100% exempted. So in case of a tenancy, you normally you can, and in case of law is, any case of a residential tenancy, the legal heir who is staying with the person, for example, I am a tenant, and my legal heir, son or daughter or wife who is staying with me, landlord automatically has to transfer in name of the legal heir. If I am holding commercial tenancy, commercial property, then my legal heir who is doing business with me, he will get that tenancy. But under redevelopment, many benefits are there. So even you cannot make a will of a tenanted property. But chances are there, it may be converted into ownership later on because of redevelopment and various other things. So I always advise my client, even legally, you cannot make will of tenanted property, but still you write there, I am a tenant of so-and-so building. A building go under redevelopment in my lifetime or after that. And my legal heir will get, my so-and-so person will get the ownership right of this property. And accordingly, even tenanted property, you can't make a will, but still it is advisable to write that item. Maximum what will happen, building will not go to redevelopment, that clause will be treated irrelevant. You go under redevelopment, then your legal aid will get. Otherwise, all legal aid will get equally. You want to give to a particular son who is staying with you, so you can identify that item. When should people make a will? At what age? Any age is fine. How do they make the will? I told you. Making a will, what kind of paper is to be used, what language is to be used, and other people to witness the will. I told you already in detail. Simple paper, no stamp paper, no registration, simple language, no double meaning wala language one should avoid. For example, my wife's name is Sunita. My brother's wife is also Sunita. And I say after my death, this property will go to Sunita, not with Sunita. So I must make it clear my wife Sunita or my brother's wife Sunita. So there is no confusion later on. Then, where should they keep the will? You keep it at such a place it is found. Many times it happens, but legal heirs search the will, they don't find, they assume that there is no will, and will is found after 20 years. By the time everything is over. So better to keep at such a place and inform your advocate, chartered accountant, secretary of society, your friend, where you kept the will. So after your death, they can search for the will. Can will be verbal like told? I told you verbal will is only in Army, Air Force, Navy, or person is working in a ship, or Muslim at the time of death. Otherwise, verbal will is not permitted, it has to be in writing. We see a lot of problem in family when head of the family passes away without leaving a will. Is that is true? Yes, I give you example. But that will, if head Jivajiram Scindia made the will, it would have given as per that share. Head Bidlaji made a will, it will go to my family charity. Then Lodaji will not get anything. Bidlaji could have written that my wife have right to use, but in case still after her death property remain, it will go to the charity or it will go to Mr. So and so. Then that is possible. Should you keep the content of will secret? Depend upon me. I make a will, I want to tell everyone, no problem. I want to keep secret, I can keep that, but I must make a proper will. It should not happen that Pune person who made a will and 2 witnesses have not signed, and later on, instead of daughter getting 50,000 crore, got only 20,000 crore. A husband may leave a will, should wife also make a will? Yes, it is advisable to make a mirror will. Husband give to wife, wife give to husband, and keep a condition. In case C predates me, then my legal heir will get like this. So it's advisable to make a separate will and not a joint will. Suppose a person makes a will leaving his or asset money not to a family but outsider, whether he can do, yes, 100%. You can do charity, you can give to outsider, you can do whatever you want. Will are often contested by people. Can you enumerate 3 of the most common ground on which will is contested? Normally wills contested by the legal heir on 3-4 points. The person was not of a sound mind. When he made, he was taken a heavy medicine, or he was not of a sound mind, or second, he lacks testamentary capacity. He was minor at that point of time. Will is taken under pressure. Person who unduly influenced and signing the will. Somebody comes, I'm going to commit suicide right now, otherwise you make a will in my favor. I make, and within 7 days I can retract that will. My advocate taken my signature as a letter of authority and later on used as a will. I am to be admitted in hospital. My son comes and take my signature, and because at that time my mind is not proper, and he make later on will on that paper. So on that ground, normally wills are challenged. Will procured by fraud. Dawood Ibrahim or Chota Rajan come at gunpoint and take my signature. That is invalid will. Will is not signed before 2 witnesses. I told you the Pune case. Name of the family member is not mentioned. Some name is missing. So that person can always challenge. So better to write name of all the legal heirs. Will often result into bitterness in a family. What happened? I have 2 sons. My wife has sufficient asset. I have no daughter. I given both the children equally. Naturally, my son who is taking care of me, he will feel I have taken care of my father, and still my father has given me 50%, and other brother also got 50%. So that always it is there. If you give more to this child who is taking care of you, other son, he will say, मेरा बाप ने मेरे को 40% ही दिया है, जबकि मैं भी उसका बेटा था. So those things goes on, but person can make whatever he feel appropriate. Normally, we keep nowadays one clause of arbitration also. In case of dispute of my children, matter will refer to Mr. So-and-so, who may be my friend or relative or any person who is interested in my family. And whatever he says is binding on all the children. Then chances of challenge will be very, very less. Have there been any case which will be deliberately tempered? Now, one person has made a will. He has given 1 crore rupee to one son. And after that, he added 1 zero. So he become 10 crore. And man was not having even FDR of 10 crore. So when you write, overwriting is avoided. If you make some changes, cancel that item, write again and put your initial. Otherwise, now because of chemical test and various things have come, will can be challenged. This reminds me of your case. I was given some lecture on search and seizure. And I told them, if you, one of my clients, Mr. Murarka, he was raided by Income Tax Department. From his liquor, jewelry of 50 lakh was found, hard cash of 50 lakh was found. Question was asked to Mr. Murarka, what is source of this? He said, Saab, ये सब 2 number का है. Income tax said, okay, 2 number का तो tax भर दो. He said, I will not pay the tax because that time law was the department cannot travel beyond 6 years. The extra 4 years was added later on. So he said, I earned all the assets 6 years back. I have a valuation report of jewelry 6 years back. I not operated the bank locker in last 8 years. Because my wife passed away 8 years back, and after that not touched the locker. Jewelry was found in a newspaper which cutting was more than 8 years old. Reserve Bank have certified currency was printed 8 years back, and department could not do anything. After hearing this lecture, one of my friend's client was also raided. He went to Javeri Bazaar today, obtained a valuation report dated 6 years back. Now department got doubt that this valuation, he is filed Xerox with the department. Department say we want to see original. Where the original? So he produced original also. Department impounded their original valuation report, sent to the Hyderabad for chemical test, and it was proved later on that report is made just 15 days back only. Because telephone number that time was in a 7 digit. On this valuation report, it was 8 digit. That time Mumbai was known as a Bombay. On report, it was written as a Mumbai. They went further. This man was not even registered valuer in those days. He became valuer only 2 years back. And instead of solving the problem, he created more problem. So don't do anything antedated. Whatever you have, try to exploit that and get benefit of this. So will also, when you make, don't do overwriting, don't put antedated date. Try to make it as clear and simple as possible. Then Change of will is possible. Yes, you can make change every day. What you advise? Always make a will with cool head, never in rash, impulsive manner. What should your person state of mind? Whether I give to my daughter also or only son. Now, friends, recently Supreme Court said in one case, which I will tell you little later, that daughter is your daughter, son is your son till he get married. Your daughter is your daughter whole of your life. So many times person say कि daughter को नहीं देने का है, बेटों को ही देने का है. But my personal advice, son and daughter both are at par. And now the law also says that if you don't make any will, daughter have equal right in that. So always make with cool mind whatever you feel appropriate. Should they take the help of lawyer? Yes, assets are more. Then yes. If assets are very less, then need not take help of lawyer. What I told you, 2 witnesses, make a proper good handwriting, and whatever I suggested, you can make exact that way. Does marriage entering into civil partnership affect the will? Yes. Today, I'm not married. I made a will in favor of my parent. After my marriage, that will come to an end, and because my priority have changed. So I may change the will, or otherwise also my old will be cancelled. Today, I've given everything to my wife, and my divorce take place, for example. Then that old will come to an end, and I can make a new will. Even I don't make a new will, old will be not operating. So marriage and divorce play a very important role in the life of a person, and for making a will also equally. Property will be inherited to the nominee, and so I told you, nominee may you are appointing trustee. Ganikar case I already told you, and under will you are appointing a beneficiary. Nominee simply a trustee. Friends, I've tried to cover will and nomination both. Before I go to the doctor's right, I will just take another 5 minutes. Many times we have a property where deed is not registered and person get tense. Section 41 of Maharashtra Cooperative Society Act very clearly says registration of the flat in a cooperative society, it can be flat, it can be shop, it can be industrial gala, it can be office, is optional. If you register nothing like that, only bank may not give loan unregistered document. But if you have document unregistered, also have a 100% correct, clear thing. Indian Registration Act also, 1888. Section 17(1)(a) talks about shares in a cooperative society. There also registration is optional. But you are giving a gift to a legal heir or relative. Gift deed has to be registered under Section 17(1)(b) of Indian Registration Act 1888. But normal sale and purchase, a registered document also have the same value. Somebody has not paid the stamp duty. Then penalty nowadays 2% per month, it can go up to 400%, well, 4 times of the amount payable. But government of Maharashtra, every 4-5 years, they bring amnesty scheme. One can pay. If your agreement is after 9 December 1985, stamp duty is a must. Agreement executed before that, stamp duty is not required to be paid. You can pay only whenever deed of conveyance take place on the value of whatever agreement was executed. If agreement is before 4th July 1978, you have to pay only on agreement value, not on market value. If agreement is after 4th July 1978, you have to pay stamp duty on a market value at that point of time, not today's value, that point of time. A lady wanted to sell the property or purchase the property, then stamp duty is only 4% and not normally 5%. Of course, by the way, it is 6%, so 1% will be less, means 5%. In Bombay, it is 5%, so 1% less will be 4%. But condition is that within 15 years, if you want to sell, you have to sell to lady only and not to outsider. After 15 years, you do whatever you want, then you can save 1% stamp duty. If I want to release, for example, my father made a will and given one property to 4 brothers. Everyone have a 25% right in that property. But for example, we 3 brothers decide we want to give our 4th brother. We don't want the property. Then we can make a release deed on 200 rupees stamp paper. Registration fees is only 100, and property worth of hundreds of crores can be given as a release in favor of a legal heir. My father is not given to any my sister, for example, and we 4 brothers got the property, and we want to release in favor of our sister or mother or any one of the brother. We can do that by paying 200 stamp duty, 100 rupee registration fees. I'm talking only with Maharashtra, not other part of country. I want to give gift to my son. I told you son, daughter, grandchildren, my wife, or my son's wife, provided my son is no more. Then stamp duty is only 500 rupee, registration fees is 200 rupee, and you can distribute whatever way you want. I told you under redevelopment, hardship allowance is tax-free, corpus money received by the society is tax-free, rent you are getting and spending, then that much deduction will be there, remaining will be taken as income from other sources. Builder may be paying rent of 50,000, I spend 60,000, then no, nothing remain taxable. I pay only 40,000, 10,000 will be taxable as income from other sources. I have another house, I not paid anything, I'm getting only 50,000, then whole 50,000 will be taxable. I got alternate house where area is more, 30-40% more. I pay no tax, provided my old asset is long-term asset holding more than 2 years. Gift of one relative, I told you. The similar way, HO file can be created. If something has happened in lifetime of person like Kanekar's case, property is already family settlement deed बना के distribute कर दिया है, और family settlement में you already committed. Then my writing in the will also have no meaning. Family settlement you have more power than your will. Any item received under income tax, no stamp duty. Case of a capital gain, cost of earlier owner is your cost, date of acquisition by earlier owner is your date of acquisition. Then friends, last item before I touch to the daughter's right is a reverse mortgage. Many of our client comes, their children are there, they are settled outside India. They don't take care of the parents. Then what happen? If that family, husband and wife, have at least one house, one flat, where, or any commercial property, any house, residential property or commercial property, and then stamp duty is paid on that domain, that property, registration is over on that property, then they can go to the nationalized bank for reverse mortgage. Bank will take the copy of the paper and they will see the age of the person who is taking the reverse mortgage, looking to the future of that person, life future, span of the life. They will work out something, looking to the market value of the property, and they may say, for example, looking to your property and looking to your age or your wife's age, or I want maybe combined after my death, my wife must get the money, or I may say only I get the money, whatever condition, looking to those conditions, bank will say, we will give you every month 50,000 rupees. Every month my account will be credited by 50,000. I don't have to pay back that money in my lifetime. Bank will take the letter after my death. My wife will get, if that type of reverse mortgage I made. After death of both of us, they will approach my children. They will take name, address, everything from me in advance. And they will say, your father made a reverse mortgage of this property. This much loan is outstanding. You pay this much, we release property in your favor as instruction given by your parents. If you don't pay the money, we will auction the property, sell the property. Whatever money comes, we deduct our amount outstanding and balance will be given to you in this proportion as per wish of your father. But there, for example, property sold for 2 crore rupee and my loan along with interest become 4 crore rupee. Then remaining 2 crore will be paid by Government of India. Children are not liable to pay. So those persons have at least one property, can mortgage provided stamp duty is paid and document is registered. Then reverse mortgage is also possible. So there is a big benefit is given by the government few years back. Now friends, before I end, I want to take the right of daughter in father's property. Father can have two types of property, HUF and individual. Individual property, daughter have equal right if there is no will. My wife, my mother, my son and my daughter have equal rights. If I make a will, I can exclude my daughter, I can exclude my wife, I can exclude my mother, I can exclude my son. That is my wish. If I don't want to give to my daughter, I may not give also. Don't make a will, my daughter have equal right at par with my son. That is as far as individual property is concerned. So by making a will, I can reduce it. But as far as HUF property is concerned, before 9 September 2005, law was at the time of marriage of a daughter, she ceased to be your member till divorce take place. Right of a daughter was not there up to 9 September 2005 under the HUF property if daughter is married. 9 September 2005, law was amended and they say daughter will have equal right with the father property, whether married or not married, is not relevant. That is a major amendment on 9 September 2005. Before 9 September, daughter married have no right. Situation was that any person born in a family, son and daughter, they are the co-partners. They can claim partition. But married daughter was excluded after that. Till unmarried, she is a part of your HUF. My wife is outside, she came from outside family. My daughter-in-law came from outside family. My son-in-law is from outside family. My wife and my daughter-in-law, they are not co-partner, but they are the member. If partition take place, my wife will get equal share at par with me and my son and daughter. But if my son is alive, my daughter-in-law have no right. If son is dead, her right is there equal to my son and the children's. That is the law. Now what happened? So HUF 9 September 2005 date is very important. Now what are the controversy? One judgment came from Supreme Court, decided by two judges, Prakash and Phulvati. Prakash versus Phulvati. And that judgment said, whatever amendment is there on 9 September 2005, it is a prospective. Means will not apply up to 9 September 2005. It will apply only after that, provided father is alive on 9 September 2005 and daughter is also alive. If somebody died before that date, his right will come to an end. Similar way, that issue was settled. Then another judgment came in 2018, Damanna versus Amar. That also decided by two judges of the Supreme Court in 2018. First one was 2016. There they said whether daughter is alive on 9 September 2005 or not, whether father is alive on 9 September 2005 or not, but if property is there, then daughter get right by birth. Daughter will have equal right at par with your son, and she has equal right. Whether she died, then children will have right. Son-in-law will have no right. But if father is dead, property is there, daughter have right. If father is dead, daughter is also dead, but properties are there, then daughter's children will have right. So completely contrary. First judgment was the prospective. Second judgment is the retrospective. Child get right from the date of birth only, not from date of 9 September, or not date of marriage will have no effect, which was there up to 9 September earlier. So there were two controversial judgments. So third case was decided by three judges, Vanita Sharma versus Rakesh Sharma. And that is decided on 11th of August 2020. And that judgment say, law effective from 9th September 2005 is neither prospective nor retrospective. It is retroactive. Now what is retroactive? I also opened the dictionary that day when law was decided. And retroactive means whether father or mother dead or alive is not effective. If property is there, if any partition has taken place on or before 20th of December, 20 December 2004, and property is already distributed, partition of HUF has taken place, all properties are transferred. If stamp duty is payable on a partition deed, that is paid. Intimacy is to be given to Income Tax Department, that is given. Then, and property already distributed before 20th of December 2004, then daughter cannot get the property, that case reopen, and daughter will have no right. But if 20th December 2004, property is there, if the father is alive or dead, not relevant. Daughter is alive or dead, not relevant, but property is there, then daughter have a right. After 20th of December 2004, daughter get right with the birth, but property should be there on 20th December 2004, then daughter have right after 9 September 2005 in HUF property equally. Earlier, which was there after marriage, daughter ceased to be a member, that is not there. Daughter continue to be member. If daughter is alive, the daughter is elder and alive, she will become karta of HUF and not son. Normally we say elder son will be karta, but daughter is elder, then daughter will become. If daughter say, I don't want to continue the karta, let my brother become, then of course there is no problem. With consent you can do whatever you want. But under the law, eldest daughter will be karta or eldest son will be karta of HUF. Of course, karta can only run the HUF. Property still belongs to the whole family. Karta cannot make a will of that, but he can run for the benefit of the family, he can run the things. So friends, that was a very important. So this is the right of a daughter. I think I try to cover whatever possible. Thank you very much. Any question is there, we will take up that. Yes, Ritu madam.
Thank you so much, sir. This is a very energetic session. Sheetal, over to you.
Thank you so much, sir, for this lively and very energetic session. Indeed, it's a pleasure to hear from you, sir. To give away formal vote of thanks, I request our convener, madam, to please give vote of thanks for sir.
Thank you, Sheetal. Gratitude is not only the greatest virtue, but the parent of all others. First of all, I would like to thank you for sparing your valuable time and sharing your knowledge with us on this Sunday evening. It's indeed pleasure to hear from you, sir. Thank you so much for giving us insight with examples and detailed explanations of such a crucial topic, which is most relevant in this COVID time. Sir, they say no duty is more urgent than that of returning thanks. Thank you so much, sir. We at Study Circle, as a token of thanks, present you CABF contribution receipt of ₹500. Just a second, sir. I'll be sharing the receipt. So this we will contribute to CABF in your name and we'll share the.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, sir, for
Thank you so
giving
much,
us
sir.
live examples. Otherwise, ये सब theory में पढ़ा हुआ है, लेकिन यहाँ तक जाने में तकलीफ है.
Thank you so much, sir.
आपके email में write up भी भेज दूंगा, you can send to your members.
Yes, yes, sir. That will be a great help. Thank you so much.
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, members, for making
Thank
this
you once again, sir.
resounding success. Thank you. You may end the meeting.